Recording start. Good evening to one and all present here. I take this opportunity to welcome you all. Let us start this day with the prayer of our God with our college prayer song. Now I request Ms. Mohana Priya to sing our college prayer.
Shri Maheshwari Vasavi Nagarishwari Parameswari Kamitarthamulakshya Brahmamu Kanyaka Parameswari Devi Devi Maheshwari Parameswari Kanyaka Parameswari Balachandra Giritudharini Bhagya Sundara Rupini Vaishyavamshaya Shobhivardhini Kanyaka Parameswari Shri Maheshwari Vasavi Nagarishwari Parameswari Kamitarthamulakshya Brahmamu Kanyaka Parameswari Kanyaka Parameswari Kanyaka Parameswari.
Thank you, Mohana Priya. Now I request Ms. D. Ramya to welcome the gathering and introduce our chief guest.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to one and all present here. I would like to welcome our honorary correspondent, principal, vice principal, and all the participants for the 5 days FDP on Disruptive Technologies. It is my pleasure to introduce our resource person of the day, Dr. B. Indrani, ma'am. Currently, she is working as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science, Directorate of Distance Education, Madurai Kamaraj University, Madurai. She has completed her UG, PG and MPhil in Madurai Kamaraj University. She has completed her PhD in Alagappa University in the field of computer science and engineering. Ma'am has a teaching experience of more than 13 years and she is also published 19 international journal and 3 national journal and 14 international conference and 4 national conference research papers. She is also a member of Patter Academy of India, SKRGC publication and 7th Sense Research Group and many other bodies. Ma'am received award, International Women Achievers Award from the Universal Tamil University in India and Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Professor Award from Puducherry Research Institute of Management, Education and Science and many other awards. She has been the resource person to various programs. We welcome you, ma'am. Now, ma'am will take over the session. Ma'am?
Ma'am, shall I share the screen, ma'am? Ma'am, shall I share the screen, ma'am? Ma'am, you are in mute, ma'am. Ma'am, your audio is in mute, ma'am.
Visible in the phone.
Yes, ma'am. Now it's visible.
Visible, sir. One second. Ma'am, is it audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, due to phone only, this problem is going.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Ma'am, shall I share the screen, ma'am?
Share the screen, ma'am. Please, Harry.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The screen is not visible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It was closed.
கீழே பிரிண்டர்ல இருக்காங்களா காமாட்சி மேம் கீழே போயிட்டு
Maitli, kindly mute your audio. Maitli. Maitli, kindly mute your audio.
Okay. Good evening to one and all present in this online mode. Ma'am, is it audible? My voice is
Yes,
audible?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, fine, ma'am. Okay, now I'm going to present a concept of detection and prevention of attacks and transactional database. How the data are detected and prevented from the various types of attacks on during the transaction process. So generally, we are all well known that now without database, nothing can be processed. All are comes under the online data and databases. So web application becomes one of the important process in the online banking, web-based applications. So here in this concept, I'm focusing on SQL injection attack, how the attacks occurs in the web applications and how it can be detected and prevented by using the crypto system mechanisms as well as the data validation techniques. This is the basic, you could have been seeing that the web application design issues, it's nothing but it is a simple design, that is the application design, how the authenticated user get inside, how the parameters which was sending by from the client side will be prevented, and the information, the user authenticated user ID will be sent to the web application. From the web application, it moves to the application server, through which the if the application server gives the authenticated as well as the authorized, then it moves to the database server. This is the general procedure which occurs in the data web applications. So in this, how we are protecting the sensitive data in the client level, application server level, and in the database server level. In the application server, in the client level, we are predicting the data, whether it is an authorized or authorized person by using the client level validations. And in the application level, by doing the auditing as well as the logging activity, we are predicting the data from entering into the database. And in the database server, we are encrypting the data as well as doing some hashing activities, hashing encryption techniques. The sensitive data can be predicted. This is the three methods in which we can predict the sensitive data and protect the confidential data in the web applications. So next slide. That is what is we are generally saying what is database, how the security plays in the various roles in the database security, in which the database encryption, authentication of the database access, and access control in database. So we know that the threats, vulnerabilities, and the attacks. What are all the threats occurrence, and what are all the vulnerability, and what are all the attacks? Threats will be in the potential occurrence of some malicious activity, some occurrence of the activity which is used to destroy the user's asset. Whatever the users having the confidential information or the valuable information, it will be affected by the threat. The vulnerable is nothing but it is a flaw occurrence in the code. In the programming code, the vulnerability will be there, through which it can be the hackers can interrupt the hacking wildcard characters or any of the characters, to which they can hack the information by using the vulnerable. The attackers to exploit the vulnerability on web-based application to destroy or disrupt, corrupt, or use of the information in through the networks. So the attackers is nothing but they will use to destroy the completely. They use to destroy or disrupt or corrupt the information. So we all know that what is SQL injection. You can move the slide, madam. So SQL injection is nothing but when an attacker attempts to change some logic, some semantics or syntax rules of the legitimate SQL statements by inserting some SQL keywords or some operators into the statement. In this way, the SQL injection attack will be occurred here. So in this, two methodologies which we are using to prevent the data from the database of the SQL injection attack. One is data validation techniques and another one is authentication query encryption scheme, which is coined by me to prevent the SQL injection attack. So some of the objectives which we are seeing here, objectives in the SQL injection attackers, identifying the injectable parameters. One thing we have to find what are all the injectable parameters. First thing we have to find it out. Then we have to find the fingerprinting of the database. Then what are all the database schemas occurring and how to extract and or addition and modifying the data in the database. Then extracting the data, then what are all the attacks occur due to this denial of service, then evading detection, how the detection can be evaded, then bypassing the authentication, how it can be bypassed, then remote commands. There are several executable remote commands that existed, and then we are doing the privileges escalations, how to escalate by having some privileges. So these are all the objectives of the SQL injection attacks. So how we are bypassing the authentication, how we are stealing the data, how the data corrupted or modified, how the data are deleted, how the data, the arbitrary codes during runtime, and how the root access system is by itself. So these are also methods which has to be predicted and it has to be prevented. So next one is techniques of SQL injection. Ma'am, next slide. Okay, so there are several techniques are there by to inject into the SQL query. That is, first one is tautologies. We are all have some ideas about tautology. Tautology is nothing but it is always said to be true. So once if you are giving equal to 1, that represent that it's similar to always it's it says it is always true. So once we are giving this login as 1 equal to 1, if the coding is in vulnerable flaw, it gets executed by using that user ID as the tautology. And union query, this is also one of the method to get inside in the query SQL injection as select any column name we are giving from user information where the login ID, that is union select password from the giving some user ID as secret and password is some single quotes, right? The single quotes and that hyphen symbol denotes the wildcard characters to get inside the vulnerable, to act as a vulnerable in the flaw of the code injections. Next one is piggyback queries. Piggyback queries is nothing but the first we are sending the legitimate query, following that the malicious query gets executed. For example, the first line, if you see that first query determines that select accounts from user information where login ID equal to some name, that is Joe, and password equal to, then we are terminating with the semicolon. After that, we are giving drop table users, then double hyphen, and pin number is 1, 2, 3. What it happens, the first thing, the first query will get executes. At the same times, the second query will get follow up and gets the table gets dropped. So this is one of the way of piggyback queries of the techniques which is used by the hackers. And the next one is malformed queries. So this is malformed queries is also converting the informations by using this some character name U, X, Y, Z like that. So next slide, madam. So next one is inference and stored procedure. Inference is also, that is by giving some conditions like that, that is select account, some user ID, login ID, then ASCII number, that is we are converting the number ASCII code generation, then greater than X wait for 10, that is we are waiting for 10 seconds. During that time, the hacker can inject the SQL injection inside the query generator. Then stored procedure is also one of the method that create procedure DBO, that is user valid ID, giving some number of lines to get executed. That for that we are using the stored procedure which can be executed in the PLSQL. And next one is extended stored procedure. It is also similar as that. Then alternate encodings. That is alternate encoding is nothing but we are getting that execute character of some hexadecimal characters will be included there, and that format is also gets executed to get enter into the applications. So next one is how the attacks will be generated in an application by using this SQL injection. So now in 2023 also SQL injection attacks is occurring in the web applications. So it cannot be 100% not eradicated. It is not a foolproof against the attacks. So web client attacker, through the client attacker we get the HTTP request through which we are sending the information of employee ID as 112 and password is some AAA, or we are giving as 1 equal to 1. That represent that tautology here. And through that, how the query will be generated. If you see that, next slide. Variable that is SQL equal to select star from employee, where user ID equal to plus, user ID equal to plus within double quotes, and password is equal to like that. So the query will be generated like that with the placeholders. In that placeholders, the attackers will be giving the wildcard characters as the tautology as 1 equal to 1, and with the with that placeholders holder, the wildcard get inserted and gets executed. Through that SQL statement gets executed from the database server. In this way, the attacks will be happening here. Till now in 2023, not able to predict the prevent the SQL injection attacks. And next one is, there are several different types of codings are existed in the query validation. That is defensive coding, static analysis, dynamic analysis, intrusion detection system, and automatic approach. Even though these many different types of attacks is also there, then also it gets there exists the attacks by using some that is query parsing, finite state machines, string matching techniques, computational cost validation techniques are applied to the entire query, even though the attacks will be generated. Next slide. If you see that by using this is a picture which shows that username, we are giving the user ID and password, the query get generated. And these are all some existed mechanisms, that is detecting and prevention of mechanism of coding, that is defensive coding. I think it is in 1997 like that. Then static analysis and dynamic analysis happens in 2010 like that. Then intrusion detection system 2015. In that duration, that intrusion detection system, then automated approach happens to detect and prevent is in 2020. From 20 to 23 it goes on like that. Then the user validation will be checked. Then if it is an authenticated person, it moves to the database server. Otherwise it will be detected and prevented. And this is even though there is no 100% foolproof against these attacks. And the next slide shows that, page number 16th slide. This is a data validation technique, how it happens. Excuse me. So here how we are how this is the proposed mechanism of myself, how to prevent the attacks by using this data validation model. By checking the user validation, and the query will be generated, and database server, if he is an invalid user, he gets outside. So this is some Suraj Kothari and Muthu Prasanna have proposed this concept of page, there is a slide number 17, how the application middleware and database middleware is used by sending the user ID and the password and gets duplicated, and from the application middleware it moves to the database middleware. In the same way, the application middleware, the data gets into query language, and in the script engine it gets executes and moves to the database middleware. After that it goes to the database. This is the existing process of the Kothari, who have tried to detect and prevent the database attack in the SQL server. So these are all some attacks. We can move to the slide number 19. This is next slide. This is the tool which is there, that is analysis and monitoring neutralization of a SQL injection attack. This is a extraordinary, and it is a William Halfand, an author, have generated this tool, and he had proposed this mechanism to detect the attack in 2020 in web application. This is an amnesia tool existed in this analysis module, runtime monitoring, instrumented in web application, in which how the SQL query model gets generated. If it gets executed, it is detected and prevented, and it will be moved as a malicious query. Otherwise, it will be, if he is an authorized person, if he will be acted as a legitimate query to get inside the database to get the data and to display in the web application. So this is the one mechanism which it was proposed by me. That is data validation techniques to prevent the SQL injection attack. So slide number 23. Can move to the slide number 23. This is the malicious text detector through which it is used to detect the text of, for example, user valid, like that, uppercase, alias, hyphen, hyphen. These are all some detecting the vulnerability characters by which is used to access the web applications, through which how the query is generated. Select start from user information for user ID equal to alias and password equal to 1007. So here the each hotspot is inspected, each and every level it gets inspected with the text detection. Characters is existed in the user data. That is, it is used to check the hotspot. Each and every the query will be parsed, and each and every keyword hotspots will be checked. If there is any wildcard, can be prevented. So next slide is crypto system mechanism. How the crypto system is used here. There is three mechanisms which we have used here to prevent the attacks by using the authenticated query encryption scheme, authentication mechanism, as well as authentication schemes to prevent it. So here, authentication query encryption scheme for preventing the SQL injection attackers. By using, I have posed an Elgamal crypto system mechanism to prevent the attacks. Here we are using the registration phase, login phase, and verification phase. In the registration phase, what it happens, in the login phase, how it gets entered, and in the verification phase, how the encryption mechanism is used to verify it and process it. The SQL injection attack can occur through injecting the additional SQL statements into the user input, and this can be prevented by using this technique by applying the encryption algorithm in the query level itself. In the level of query itself, it gets encrypted. So slide number 28. So this is the general mechanism of the AQE, that is PLSQLIA, that is a user ID password through which the registration request, and it confirmed with the server public key cryptography, through which how the new account will get registered, how the which entered in through the client side is authorized or not. It will be verified. After that, it gets entered into the data to get access in the server. So next slide 29, we can see an framework design, that is web browser. From the web browser, we are getting inside of the user ID and password with the public server public key, generating the public key. We are moving from the client level to the application layer. There we are predicting with the modules of wildcard checker is SQL query generator. Then it moves to the query encryption. Already I have explained about. So wildcard checker, there are numerous number of characters will be existed in the static level method, through which it will be checked any wildcard is there, any hotspot is there. If not there, then it moves to the query generator, through which the query will be generated as a legitimate query. Then it moves to the authenticated query encryption mechanism. Then after that, that query will get decrypted by using the server's private key. Then after decrypted, it goes to the user validation, then gets validated. The malicious user will get stopped there itself in the application layer itself. If he is an illegitimate, he will be moved to the database server to access the data in the database. This is one of the method by you which is proposed by me. This is this contribution which is given as an advanced encryption scheme by using this advanced encryption scheme by using slide number 31. In slide number 31, we are using this advanced encryption scheme, how the query generation and verification phases existed, how the query get generated, same as that, but by using the different varieties of encryption mechanism, which I have found the optimization as well as the computational cost, how it gets, how the computational cost is there, how the speed of the accuracy is there, how the encryption mechanism is, how the encryption mechanism is optimized to our work. So for that, then we move to the hybrid encryption mechanism of RSA as well as AES encryption. By using this proposed scheme, which I have given it, a secret key is assigned for every user in AES encryption, and the server has the private key and public key pair for the RSA encryption method. RSA is a very old, even though it is a standard cryptography mechanism till now. You are not able to break the RSA encryption mechanism till now. It is 100% highly secured encryption algorithm. It is proposed methods by using the two method, by using the encryption used for the query encryption. One is applying the symmetric key as well as asymmetric key. So this I have bonded with the symmetric encryption mechanism as well as the asymmetric key encryption mechanism, shows that the hybrid encryption scheme by using the user secret key in the symmetric key encryption, by using the server's public key in the asymmetric key encryptions. So by merging of two encryption mechanisms, we goes for the hybrid encryption technique, to which to how to prevent the attacks by using the same. Next slide 34. Can go to the 34. Next slide, madam. Yeah. So here also we are moving to that AES is used for encryption and RSA is for the query encryption schemes. So suspicious characters in the used data that will be identified in the wildcard checker module, and it discard it is if it is malevolent, that is if it is an malicious attack, then it will be discarded it. So here we are finding the computational cost, how the computational cost will be there in the hybrid encryption mechanism. And here also we are proposing with the registration phase, login phase, and verification phase, and the detection and the prevention mechanisms, how it can be prevented and detected. So here the username and password is also encrypted by using the AES algorithm, by using some secret keys here. So here the SQL query generator is used to generate the query mechanism by using the encrypted username as well as the password. Is encrypted by using the RSA by applying the server's public key. The encrypted query will be sent to the server. This is the picture which I have drawn. There is here for your understanding, that is login and verification phase in SLIA, that is hybrid encryption technique, through which how the RSA gets encrypted by using this RSA crypto system by using the public key server. Then in the server we are using the public key. The encrypted query will be sent to the server. So here in the verification phase, the server receives the encrypted query and decrypts the query by using the server's private key, and the decryption of the username as well as the password from the query by using the secret key of the user. By using the secret key of the user, we are decrypting the username as well as the password. So after checking the decrypted username and the password from the user account table, if it matches with the user, then it will be considered as the legitimate. It gets eliminated as considering as it is a malicious user. And this is a picture which shows the web browser by using the secret key of this numbers generations and the server public key. By submitting, we are moving to the wildcard checker. Then encrypting the user ID and password. Then SQL query will be generated. After that, the SQL query will be moving to that application layer and gets decrypted by using their server public key and gets decrypted password, that is login phase from query using the user secret key. Then it moves to the user account and it get check the account whether it is a match or not. That is pattern matching algorithm is used there. Then if it is okay, then it moves to the database server. This is the mechanism to prevent maximum. We are giving the effort to prevent by using next. So there are overhead mechanism. One is that is a round trip. That is what is a round trip means? T round trip. It is nothing. T encryption. 1 second, please. So here the T round trip thing, but the query encryption, that is SQL query, it gets encrypted from the client to server. This is the one round trip. Ma'am, is it audible? Hello, ma'am.
Ma'am, your voice is not audible, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, your voice is
Hello.
not. Ma'am?
Ma'am, I am able to hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, you can proceed, ma'am.
Ma'am, is it audible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, is it fast or is it comfortable for you, ma'am? The presentation for you.
Yes, ma'am. Your voice is breaking. Little bit quality. I think your internet quality is low, I think.
Oh.
Now it's okay, ma'am. Kindly continue.
Okay, okay, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the deduction overhead, that is how the deduction overhead can be found here. This is T deduction, T time deduction by that is time round trip. How the round trip, that is starting to from the client query mechanism and get executed. So T is the time for a the user input. T round time is the response time for completing a single query execution of the scheme. So whatever the scheme which we are proposing, the single query execution will be considered as the T round time. So this is the prevention overhead. The deduction overhead as well as the prevention overhead will be founding like this. We are finding the technique evaluated. We are proposing that some already I have discussed with the slides of defensive code mechanisms, etc. Some with that we are detecting the vulnerability from the user input. If it gets valid, it moves to the stage 2. So, if it is not valid, it gets dropped in the detection level itself. If it is okay, then it moves to the stage 2 for the validation of the input. After validation, it goes to the stage 3 to get generating the SQL query and execute on the database in the database server. So we are testing that environment for the data validation technique by using the testing environment. Next slide. So this is a testing environment which I have used for more than 1 or 2 laptops by using the insecure channel as well as the secure channel. But we are using both the channels of secured as well as insecure channels to which the data are passed by using the host name, that IP address with the different IP address, and with having the Windows, ASP.NET, like that. Whatever it is, we can use it, any web applications, anything. By using this insecure channel, we have started to give the malicious user data also, legitimate user data also, by which we have find the optimized, how it can be optimized by using this validation techniques, by using validating the data from the client level as well as in the server side. So next one is, so this is the average detection overhead of summation I equal to 1 by using this detection as well as the detection 1 and 2 by number of wildcard characters, by checking the time taken to complete decryption module, as the detection 1 is the time needed for detecting the malicious characters using the wildcard checker. Detection 2 is the time taken to complete the decryption module. So by using that, we have found the average prevention overhead of that T prevention, time taken for the prevention minus time taken for the query interpretation, by which, so through this we are finding the number of queries. N is the number of queries. So evaluating the authentication scheme, how the authentication scheme can be evaluated by using this wildcard checker, by the query generation module, by using the proposed scheme as well as in the decryption model of the proposed scheme also. So this is the testing procedure, how the legitimate query can be tested by using the queries of the cryptographic algorithms, and in the decryption phase also using the authentication, the invalid users are detected and prevented in decryption phase itself. So finally, we are computing the average detection and prevention overhead for the proposed authentication scheme with a different set of queries. The detection and prevention overhead is calculated by the time taken to complete the decryption phase. So next one is how to find the performance analysis of this, finding the performance analysis of the result and discussion, which we have found how the attacks is prevented by the that is 100% we are showing, but accurately we do not have that 100%. Only we can say that 99% we can detect and prevent. That's it. So finally, we are going to that evaluation process of the authentication schemes of these, how the false positive can be predicted, and number of false positive we have allowed, and how it will be prevented, how the false positive and false negative is attempted as well as identified, detected and prevented. So this is the mechanisms which I had did. This is the work of our research madam. We had done. Then we have find it out the comparison as well as the detection mechanisms of this by using some SQL server, and we have found the results of this. Ma'am, in this way we can detect the SQL injection attack from the web applications. Thank you. Ma'am, number of attacks is there, even though there are several web application attacks. We are focusing on this SQL injection attack because this SQL query is one of the database we need it, right? For all the applications all the applications are generated using the scripting languages. Any of the scripting languages, JavaScript, VB script, anything. So by using this scripting language, a SQL injection attack get easily interrupted into the web application to get attack the database. So we are focusing that to detect and prevent, in which way we can detect and prevent this database by using some validation techniques, or by using the crypto system also, how it can be detected and prevented. But 100% never it cannot be prevented, the attacks. Even though we are preventing, day by day it gets 0-day attacks will be generated. Today we are preventing with some other mechanism. Tomorrow with some other mechanism they used to get interrupted. So this is a way which is happening in any question, ma'am?
Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Dr. Kasturi Bai from Tirthanganadar College. I have a question. In the query, in the SQL injection query, you are giving the user name Alice and 2 hyphen symbol. What is the purpose of
Ma'am, actually, and the hyphen symbol and the single quotes, semicolons, 1 equal to 1. There are several, this is called wildcard characters, ma'am. Actually, by using these wildcard characters, the attackers used this type of wildcard characters to get inside the program. That is the program which we are writing in the web application, right, ma'am? The program has the flaw or vulnerability. That vulnerability can be breaked off by using these type of characters, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Actually,
இந்த மாதிரி SQL has
I
its
think
own wildcard meaning, no? So apart from that, does it have any different meaning?
for which, ma'am?
No. SQL has like a percentage underscore. It has its own meaning, wildcard character meaning. Is it the same or?
No, ma'am. There are several number of characters are there. Not only like that, hyphen like that. There are several characters are there, madam. Many number of characters are existed. By using that type of characters, they are breaking the vulnerability. If it is vulnerable, if the application is vulnerable, if it is not protected properly, if it is not tested properly, many of the applications got break into by using this wildcard characters, ma'am. Because the vulnerable existed in that application. So by using that placeholders, they are using this type of characters to get inside the database, the user ID and password get inside it and gets executed as a query mechanism, madam.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Actually, ma'am, this is a research work which I focused here, ma'am, actually, because we have implemented this by using this testing mechanisms, how it gets predicted and detected. So that, because it is also going on, the research is also at present, it is also going on, ma'am. This SQL injection attack is also, they're trying to predict by many of the, I think William Helf and Muthu Prasanna Kothari is also, they are also the authors, is also existed several, they have also implemented with several types of tools, which is it at marketing level at present. Several tools are at marketing available, madam. Automated tools are existed, even though it gets, they are trying to attack the applications. So already I told it is 100% not foolproof, actually. I think that before 5 o'clock I have finished it.
Nice. Thank you. Questions in the chat box also.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Dear participants, kindly unmute and ask your queries. Or else you can type in chat box also.
Yeah, madam. Good evening, madam.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam. This is Dr. Bharanidharan from the new college.
Yes.
Actually, session is a very interesting and stufful session, madam. Any monitoring tool is available, madam, to look all this vulnerabilities or to see all this.
Yes, sir. Already I have explained that analysis and monitoring of neutralization of SQL injection attack tool is automated tool is existed. Okay. Even though the tool is existed, day to day they are creating a 0-day attack, sir.
Okay, madam, is the tool is open source or it's a licensable?
Which one, sir?
The tool you are saying, no, analysis tool.
Licensable, license.
License oriented. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
But
Thanks a lot.
I have mailed to that person, that author, to send the information, the coding which he have used it. Because
open source means everyone can use, students
everyone
even
can
they can try for research.
Marketing. No, okay. They won't. There it is also in under research is going on, sir. So they won't give that. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. Happy day.
Thank you.
What are the questions in the chat box?
Please send a feedback link, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes. Ma'am, shall we proceed, ma'am, with the vote
Yes.
of thanks?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, since our audience have no queries, now I request Parameswari, Assistant Professor, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to all. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event. At first, I would like to thank our resource person, Dr. B. Indrani ma'am, who gave more information about SQL database queries and attacks, about detection and prevention of attacks on transactional database. Thank you, ma'am, for making this session more interesting and successful. I would
Thank
like
you.
to convey my I'd like to convey my special thanks to our management, honorary correspondent sir, principal ma'am, and vice principal ma'ams for their constant support and encouragement. I extend my sincere thanks to all my department faculties for their support in making this session successful. Last but not least, I thank all our participants from various colleges for participating in this session. Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am, once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, shall I leave the session?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Feedback link is posted in the chat box. Kindly fill the feedback.
இது பண்ணிட்டுதா